We are going to talk to the amazing singer-songwriter Justine Tyrell right here, so keep it locked. Hi, I'm Garcia.
I'm Tully.
And we are the HercastleGirls.
What is up? What is up?
If you like videos about entertainment, pop culture, fashion, and lifestyle, this is the channel for you. You go right ahead and hit that subscribe button. Become a sibling of the HercastleGirls. Because
what an honor.
we're siblings.
We're siblings and we want to grow our sibling tribe. So we had the amazing opportunity to sit with a Canadian treasure, a jewel.
Truly.
She is an emerald.
Truly.
She's a diamond.
Truly.
She is Justine Tyrell.
All the way from lovely Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Fabulous.
She's got this R&B soul thing down.
D-O-W-N.
And she has a new single out called Ghost Town. And because of that, we got to sit down virtually with Justine and talk about music, life, her career, and if you're really in for a nice conversation,
Which we know you are.
you should go ahead and watch. So, here we are. HercastleGirls meet Justine Tyrell.
Canada's treasure girl.
It's so nice to be with both of you. This is really, really nice. I've been looking forward to this one.
Thank you. And we're
Thank you so
so
much.
happy to have you here
Yes,
on
we
our
are.
channel. For all of those that need to know, this
Girl.
is Justine Tyrell, and she is Canada's, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
I listen to your music and I just feel this is like the R&B
That's missing.
piece that we're not
We're not
hearing
hearing.
enough.
We're not.
Like it
Hey,
used to be a part of us, and
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
slowly, it was
It's-
stolen, girl, but you're bringing it
It's changing. Stuff is changing. And I'm genuinely so grateful to hear that, because I feel like sometimes there's like a bit of a pressure to figure out, like, what genre do you fit in? What artist could you compare yourself to? And sometimes when I can't figure that out, I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So all of that is to say, to hear that from you two, that means a lot, because that means just doing you is what connects, which is nice.
We thank you for doing you. We thank you for
Yes.
putting out doing things your way. Because like you were
Thank
saying, it's just nice to hear R&B.
yeah,
It's nice to hear it.
no gimmicks,
No gimmicks,
no drama
costumes,
behind it.
no
Save
crazy
mama for the other mamas, not me.
dropping
Yeah.
bars at the same time. Like,
We're so curious about when you were growing up, because you have a sound, you have a voice, and it takes a lot of energy to, first of
Oh, yeah.
all, be confident enough to share your voice
mhm,
and be confident enough to do it in your way.
mhm.
So when you started in music, or when you started getting that sort of itch where it's like, I need to do something in
Yeah.
music, what was that process for you like? What was the mindset that you needed to take on to become confident enough to say, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny because I was talking with my mom last night kind of about this type of stuff, and she's like, I remember when I had to pay you $20 to sing for me and your grandma, and like you were 8 years old and you wouldn't do it and you'd run away. So it was that type of beginning where I wrote my first song around the age of 7. And at that time I was listening to like Aaliyah, I was listening to like Boyz II Men. I had a very eclectic taste too. Also, like people in my family were also listening to Elvis and like Etta
Yeah.
James, and just so many different influences. And I think what I figured out at that early age is that I love to sing and I love to write music. And I had just such gripping stage fright and anxiety to do it in front of people. And it's weird because I would like, I've always been a big personality. I liked being in front of people, but there was something even at a young age that I knew was so vulnerable about sharing your voice. So
Mm.
part of it was a bit of a journey. And then around the age of 16, I think 16, 17, I did a little thing with Canadian Idol and whatever, but that was a whole other, like we could have a whole other sidebar about that. And it was kind of like between 16 and I'd say maybe my early 20s, like 21, 22, that I'm like, okay, I know I love this. I just don't know how to actually do it and connect.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, it's a short answer, I guess, is kind of always a lifelong thing, but more seriously in kind of my early and mid 20s was when I was like, hey, this is what I love. Obviously, we're not always going to feel confident at times. I don't know how to navigate the path, but I know that if I didn't do this, like I wouldn't sleep at night. Like this is what I love. And when it comes to being confident in your voice and finding your voice, like girls, I still struggle on the daily with that, like
Wow.
oh yeah, oh yeah, just it's
Oh,
always I think it's always a bit of a growing experience and a learning experience. I think the biggest thing I remind myself is that we have so many amazing artists and talents, but there's only one me and there's only one you and one you. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm like,
Yes.
and I've said this before, like some of my favorites, Amy Winehouse, if
oh,
she focused on trying to sound like Mariah Carey, we wouldn't have Amy. You know, like
right.
everybody's trying to sound like everybody, we wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I talk with my confidence daily and just try to remind myself, like, no one can do what you do, the special
That
way
is
you,
for sure.
but it's always like, I'm always
A
battling.
constant.
Yeah.
Thank
Constant.
God. If
Yeah.
anybody unlocks the key to like flawless confidence and put like, let me know.
Sell
Call
it.
me.
Sell it, put it on a bottle and charge
That's it.
it. Because when you perform, girl, your confidence is on. So you
Yeah.
fool
So calm
everybody.
and
Thank
collected.
No one would think that you're
you.
going through anything.
I'm so glad that I do. Out of all of it, although performing in front of people was where I started out the most fearful, now when I'm on stage, I have the greatest sense of home. And I think it's more
Mhm.
the in-betweens that I struggle with. It's more of like the social media. It's more of like, trying to figure out how do I put myself out there and the comparison game and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. I think that gets complex. But once I actually start singing, like I'm in my
Yeah,
own
you're
little
in
You're in
your
your happy
happy
little
place.
place.
world.
You're in your happy
Yeah.
place.
One of the things that I think that's awesome, by the
Oh,
way,
definitely.
because we were even playing it and we like listened to it a few times, was
So good.
you have this, first of
Uh,
all, Calgary, Alberta has totally taken you as their, R&B queen, I would
yes,
say.
ma'am.
So Calgary Stampeders home games,
Mm-hmm.
they were smart. I think this is the smartest thing ever.
I think
They
so.
have you sing the Canadian anthem every home game. And I'm like, see, at least people are going to actually get the anthem.
And they're gonna get it done the
Correct.
right way.
Thank
The
you.
right way.
You know
The
what's
right
so
way.
funny? When I auditioned for that, this was a lot of people don't know that I've been doing it for probably about 9 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I've been doing it for a really long time. And I remember when I first went to audition for it, I like went and I was like, I'm gonna sing, like, I'm gonna leave no crumbs with this anthem. Hindsight, way too much. Ridiculous. We'll never sing it like that again.
All the
But
runs, all
you
the
know what I mean? I was like,
Oh,
I
oh,
ain't never an anthem like this.
oh
Ridiculous.
no.
And so
Oh.
the biggest piece of feedback that I got, they were like, we love just you being you. The other stuff, thank you for trying it, basically. But
You were
like,
nice with their
they were so nice. And
fun.
they're like, why don't you
Fun.
come back and leave like
Oh.
that at home? So it's like, got it. So yeah, it was just, I think that
Aw.
like, I'm glad that we've found a good, a good
Yeah,
balance.
you're at a
You're
good
place.
place.
You're in a good balance. That's
Yeah.
good.
No,
Sounds fantastic.
I am
Thank
going to say here right now, and
Yeah.
I know that you would agree with me, the way how you delivered the anthem is the perfect, like, oh
It's the
yeah,
perfect mix.
it's not too much at all.
No.
It's very just a soulful, it's you. It's you doing the Canadian
soulful,
anthem.
It's tranquil. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's like butter.
Yeah.
I mean,
When you hear your voice, it's just soft. Like you
It's
know,
so
some
nice.
people, girl, look, I can go on for a long time. So I'm gonna
I
stop.
know.
'Cause I don't
I'm gonna feel 10 feet tall after this interview. Listen, if there was anything difficult I had to do today, I'm gonna do it right after this. 'Cause
Go ahead.
One thing I notice with,
Yeah.
with Canadian artists specifically, you really have to kind of have the sort of business part of you,
Mm.
and then the,
Like then
the
the-
arts.
yeah,
The part that
artists.
everyone loves, the part that,
Everyone
we all,
sees.
yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I love
They
this.
see your stage presence.
stuff behind the scenes,
Right.
right? Like the managing your career,
Yeah.
scheduling, making sure you're collaborating with the right people, the
Right.
right producers,
The rehearsals and the
yeah,
travel and the things that people think are, easy peasy.
yeah.
They
How
are
how do
not.
you manage this? How do
Mhm.
you keep it all together so that the
Yeah.
business doesn't per se take over your artistic side so much
Mhm.
that the art suffers?
Yeah, great way to put that. It is, again, also still very much a work in progress,
Mhm.
but even yesterday, like we had our Ghost Town premiered on the block on CBC. And so,
Fabulous.
like all excited and I'm getting ready and like waiting and counting down. And then I'm like, wait, I don't have a graphic design team. I don't have anyone who like makes an announcement about this. I'm like, wait, who's making an asset to tell people on socials? Like, I am. So I'm sitting there like graphic designing, quote unquote.
Listen, Canva is a great tool.
It's a master.
Canva.
Oh, wow. It really is.
God bless Canva, I swear.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm always like, I feel like I'm always still kind of behind the ball, just somehow figuring out how to catch it.
Mhm.
But I do have an amazing manager named Kenesha, and I joke that
Oh.
she's my sister, so she's like my right hand woman as well. So her and I do tackle a lot of the stuff together. But I think that I've always kind of been that way. Like even when
Mhm.
I started gigging and performing, although I'm creative, I do sort of have that left side of the brain when it comes to the business side.
Mhm.
So I think it's just, yeah, it's just something you kind of adapt and you eventually learn that if you don't have a team of people that's doing it for you and you don't do it, it just doesn't get done. And
Yeah.
I've went through enough seasons where I'm like, you know what, let me try to lay off of it a bit and just like be all in my creative self and see what happens. Great, but then there's no like assets going out to people. There's no audience, there's disorganized rehearsals, there's no musicians booked. So
Yeah.
it became like a sink or swim necessity thing. And now with a lot of the people that I work with, like a lot of my collaborators are family to me. And so
Love
it's
that.
very easy, thankfully, to rely on them. And
Yeah. Love
those
that.
yeah, they've gotten easier, but yeah, genuinely, I think maintaining the balance is just a matter of like, if I don't do it, it ain't getting done. You just have to do it. Like I wish I had a fancier answer than that, but
No,
it's
that
just
is a
That's
great
exactly
answer.
it. I
I
wish more
think
people
I
understood that.
yeah, I think people forget
ah,
about the
Yeah.
entrepreneurship part of any type of career,
Yeah.
regardless.
And no matter how like, big a name is, like you hear like the Beyonce and the Rihanna, they still have to
Oh, there's
put their foot down and say, "Hey,
yeah.
remember that, that flyer you're working on? Remember that post? Is
that's
it done yet?" Like
right.
people
And that's
will
also,
speak,
I think, our ability to still steer a little bit of how do we present? I think that was the other part of it too. In some cases,
Mhm.
probably could have hired graphic designers to do certain things. I probably should have, to be honest.
Oh, stop.
In certain times. But I also think a gift that we have is, you spend so much time working on your art, you also kind of want to be a bit hands-on and have say in that type of stuff. And
Mhm.
then when you do get to a point where you can hand everything off to a team, at least you have an understanding of the inner workings.
Hmm.
A little bit
True.
easier, to kind of like be played with a bit
Yeah.
in that way as well. Cause you're like, no, 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 no. Like, I know how that goes, or I know that turnaround time should only take X amount of time. You just know it more intimately because you've been there. So,
Yeah.
Right.
in
Yeah.
the moment there's pain points, but in hindsight, I'm like, no, you kind of, it's a bit of like, you gotta kind of do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
That's
that
true.
I think it's important. I think
It
that
is.
again, enough people don't think about that
They
because
don't.
again, they see like
It's either glitz and the glam,
your YouTube and it's like, yeah,
your
it's a music video and
Instagram.
you're
They,
vibing
yeah.
and you're,
Doing
doing
your
your
Oh,
thing.
thing.
They just figure,
Yeah,
oh my
doing your
gosh,
thing. And it's
just
like,
doing it. I
yeah.
can do it
what they
too.
don't know is it's like my husband shooting my content for me at 6 in the morning when we haven't went to bed yet. And I'm like, please don't do it. He's like, I'm tired. I'm like, please. Like, but then yeah, you're right. People see it and it just presents in such a different way. And I'm like,
Right. It does
Yes.
present in a different way.
Exactly.
And but it doesn't go unnoticed, so don't worry.
No.
So tell us about your latest, which is Ghost Town, which you did
Yes.
mention. Tell us about this single. Tell us about how it came to be
Mhm.
and all of that, all the collaborations behind it and all of that good stuff.
so yeah, that song was super, super collaborative. And historically, with my last EP as well, I write and create a lot by myself. And it's
Mm.
just, I think partly by default, partly there was a period in time where I felt really insecure on how to even collaborate with other people. I was so intimidated by the process. So
Mm.
one of the things I wanted to challenge myself to do over the course of the last couple of years is just get in writing sessions together. Whether I had an idea that I'm like, this needs a bunch of people or not, it's just simply for that experience.
Mhm.
So I was working with a great team in Toronto who set up some writing camps, and we had a wicked writing camp that night with some amazing, amazing people. And yeah, that song just was kind of, I don't know, I'm always feeling like a little melancholy, I think, when I'm creating.
Mhm.
I just had on my heart, like, I want to talk more about isolation and feelings of loneliness and make like talking about your mental health sexy. Have people like vibe to it
Ah.
and they don't
I'm
even
here
realize,
for that.
you know
Mhm.
what I
It
mean?
needs
And
to be,
like,
that needs to be a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
truly. And
Truly.
the funny
Good.
thing is the song presents like it's about a breakup. And what's cool is we had written the song. We had a few great artists. Majo is amazing. She's on the outro. She was also a writer.
Nice.
LTN, a bunch of writers. And we had a demo cut, and then we pitched it to K Forest.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he sent back a verse that was so great. And it was cool because he took his own perspective on loneliness. And so for me in the song, I'm talking about it's not about a man, another like relationship type of person. It's literally me versus me. It's
Mhm.
talking about when I struggle, why is it that I hide myself away? Why do I feel like I can't show myself unless I'm in a perfect state where I'm a ray of light for others around me?
Mhm.
Why do I not answer my phone for days or let my texts pile up to the tens or the hundreds? And then lie and tell everybody I'm good when I'm not. Like, why do I do that? And then, most importantly, when I do come up for air, everyone's gone. And it's not their fault, but it's because I've pushed them away. And then my circle ends up feeling like a ghost town. And so I just had that concept on my heart that night in the writing session. And as soon as I kind of like threw that out there, everyone was like, ideas were flying, experiences were
I love
flying,
that.
and it was just a very naturally collaborative song.
Yeah. And
Wow.
isn't that
Oh,
beautiful
wow.
how
That is.
music, again, brings people together
Yes.
for everyone to relate to something that is actually common, but no one would become vulnerable and actually talk about that just
No.
like, I don't
Just
know,
like that.
chilling in your kitchen and
Yeah.
being
It's
like,
a casual
Yeah.
this is
conversation.
how I'm feeling
Yeah.
considering my mental health today. Like,
It's
no one
amazing
does
how
that.
music does that.
Yeah.
Totally,
Love
totally.
that.
It's very, it's disarming and it's universal. And I think like the biggest growth step I'm trying to make is like take the mask, chuck it. When someone
Mhm.
asks, how are you? Like providing they have the the time and the
Right.
Yeah.
you know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to tell you how I am. And when I ask you, how are you? I mean it. I don't just mean like,
Yeah.
oh, hey girl, how are you? Like, you know what I
Default
mean?
answer. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
And so it's really special when you're working with other people or just in the same room as people, whether you're working friends, whatever, but that veil can come off for everyone and you can be honest. And that's really what that night was.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah, that
Oh,
that is so
wow.
awesome.
That
And
is. That's really special.
looking
Oh,
forward to seeing how people take to it and how the audience takes to it. I know that when we first heard from your peeps and we
yeah.
listened, that
Oh,
was when we were like, oh my God,
we
like
had to talk to her.
yes, we must talk to
We
you. So
must.
when you think about the next like 6 months, the next, and I know questions like this are always like,
They're
"No,
hard
don't
to
ask me."
answer.
But we're just talking anyway.
I'm gonna try.
So, right. So, what do you see, or what would you like to see happening over the next 6 to 8 months? Do you plan on more live performance? I know that you do so much of it. And for people that haven't had a chance, please just put Justine Tyrell in YouTube search, and you will see so much amazing content
So much
with this
amazing
girl
content.
singing.
Oh, the way you capture an audience, like it's just
Yeah, and just like,
so
you know,
good.
you
Like,
and your piano
yeah.
genius guy, what's his
I
name?
can't remember his name.
Can't remember his
So
name.
But it's his real name.
yeah,
He's
he's like
amazing.
out of this world and
Yeah,
effortless, like effortless.
Yeah.
right. And I just
Well, I say
love
effortless, but I mean,
that.
he worked his whole life to be that good. I was like, it's easy for him. But
No, honestly, when you
Oh,
come to
yeah.
Toronto, like
We must.
when
We
you're in
shall
Toronto,
see
we
you for
are
sure.
pulling up.
We're pulling up.
You mentioned Amy Winehouse, you mentioned Aaliyah, and I do have like that
There's an
essence is there.
there.
Hmm.
It is
Well,
there.
I'm very happy. Put it on the
It's like,
record.
that's it. I'm done for the day.
That's it. That's it. I
It
think
is
she's
there.
done.
It is there. For
She's
sure.
done.
Yes.
Thank
It's
you.
there.
Yes.
I
So the next
Good.
8 months, what's up?
Oh, sorry, Gabs.
no, this is great. Thank you. I think I mean, yeah, first of all, being on stage is just that's my thing. That's where it started for me.
Mhm.
I'll always be, I think, a live performer first more than anything. I love writing and I love all of the other aspects, but a good live performance has my heart. So I do have an EP that's coming out at the end of the year that's been like
Nice.
years in the making, which I'm so excited about. So over the next 6 months, we're going to be rolling out some songs and some visuals off of that.
Great.
Yes, going to be traveling back to Toronto a lot more. So I will see you there.
Girl, we're gonna be there. We're gonna pull up.
In terms of
So
live
excited.
shows, I mean, like you both said, I've performed so many times. The last time that I did an actual count was in 2021. And at that point, I had performed 438 live shows. In the past, I want to say it was like the 3 years leading up or the 4 years leading up. So like
Whoa.
I've
That's
performed a lot.
amazing.
I've performed a lot.
That's
But
amazing.
No wonder why it feels like home. You live
Yeah,
on
you
stage.
live
I
on
do.
the, yeah.
I do.
The
I
stage is
do.
your house.
Yeah,
That's
that is truly
incredible.
like where I live.
Oh.
But I think that the difference this year and moving forward that I want to bring is that for me, it always feels like an experience. There's always that connection. I love it. I love it. But I want to make my shows more immersive, and I think that as I'm writing and as I'm creating all of this artwork, I think back to the days when you would, I mean, I don't know how old, how young anybody is who's watching this listening. So if this dates me completely, so be it. But flipping through CD booklets,
Oh,
like
girl.
stuff used to, you know what I mean? And you're like,
Yes, girl. Just
and you see the photos of them and you're like, oh my gosh, like she took that photo just so I can see it. Her signature, she signed this booklet just for me. Like it gave you this immersive, visceral feeling that I feel like is we've moved away from that a little bit in music.
yeah.
So overall, over these next 6 months and just moving forward, I want to get people more in their feels more so than I ever have. So
Love
that
that.
my shows, more stage design, more set design, more just coordination of aesthetic and storytelling through it. I think that's the conglomerate of all of that is definitely my focus. More music, more shows, more immersiveness, EP, traveling. I'm trying to take my mama to Europe as well in that time frame.
Oh,
So
yes.
we got a lot going on.
Your answer for that question, it's all about the fans.
Yeah,
It's
you
all
actually
about
love your fans.
the people
Thank you.
that come out to see you.
Yeah, you care.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It could have been a very selfish answer, and that would have been fine. Nothing wrong with
I
it.
guess
But
to each their own, but you actually care about your fans. You actually care about, the visuals they see, your sound, and bringing back feelings to them and stuff.
connecting.
Yeah, so many people are more like pushing towards, look at me, but you're more like you want to serve them. Almost.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely really, really glad that you brought that up because as I'm hearing you both say that, it's making me think of like how much of an impact that made when I felt that from other artists growing up. Like that helped
Yeah.
really set the trajectory of everything. So I just feel like you never know what you might inspire in somebody. Not to say like someone has to listen to my music and decide they're going to be a singer and that changes. Doesn't have to be
It could happen though.
It could. But
I bet you it will. I bet you it will.
I know what you mean though, because it could also inspire someone to love more or inspire to make a move in their life that they've never, thought they could simply by listening to your music.
Definitely.
That's it. And even just in the dark times of their lives to just know in the same way that I've always had music as my first friend and sometimes genuinely as I was young, my only friend, and at least somebody else who's feeling dark or lonely or isolated or whatever it may be. If they stumble across the community that is my Instagram or my music, whatever it is, that they just know like, oh, wait, this is a safe space. I could be messy. I could be grouchy. I could be depressed. I could be whatever it is. And that's enough. And you're amongst people who feel that too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Justine Tyrell. for your time
Girl.
today. Thank you for sharing the wisdom, the gems that
I
we
knew
all need to hear.
I knew that she was gonna
You
drop
did
those
say.
gems.
Make sure
Make
that
sure.
for our watchers and listeners, make sure you head over to JustineTyrell.com. I believe it is. Yes.
Yep.
And make sure to check out Justine on Spotify because let's go.
Oh yes, because this album oof,
Yeah, just do it.
sounds so good.
And honestly, speaking with both of you was such a treat. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
She's amazing. Justine is amazing. And again, truly make the time to find her on Spotify,
Please do.
Apple Music,
Please
and
do.
listen to her music. She really
She's phenomenal.
is bringing that R&B soul. We hope you enjoyed this conversation, and if you love conversations like these, let us know in the comments below. We want to make sure we keep bringing them to you. And if you like videos about entertainment, pop culture, fashion, and lifestyle, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends about the HercastleGirls.
Your friends, your boyfriends, your husbands, your wives, your cousins.
Yeah, because I'm sure y'all out here are having more than one.
Tell everybody, not just like the one husband, just tell people.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Till next time.
Bye.